December 8th, 2016. Guys, you're looking at livemeteors.com, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link to the website, and it's on our website at bpearthwatch.com. But the dots that you see and the pinging sounds that you hear when you go there are meteors hitting our upper atmosphere, and they're using an antenna and a receiver bouncing. I'm picking up meteor trails that are ionizing streaks in our atmosphere, basically reflecting that light energy, because when you ionize the atmosphere there at about 60 miles, you create light, and that's what it's picking up. Now, you will, as we go into the early morning, this will increase, and you'll start to see longer and longer streaks, and it's real handy if you're in an overcast condition where you can't see the sky. But if you can get out and see the sky and take any pictures or use your telescopes, guys, this is a good time to do it. It's one of the largest meteor showers there of the year, and it's rock debris basically from the 3200 Phaethon asteroid. They call it a rock comet in some scientific circles. But these are the pings, and it's coming in at 55.24 megahertz, and that's around channel 2 to channel 5 on an analog TV channel that you pick up on your antennas. And so that's what they're doing. This one's coming, it's picking up from a broadcast tower in Canada and being received on an antenna in Washington, D.C. And again, there's comes your meteorite skipping off the atmosphere. Some of these don't skip. The longer ones you see have a much greater chance of impact when you see the ones explode or actually strike the Earth. Very interesting, because again, they call these the Gemini meteor showers because they're coming from that radiant in the sky from Gemini. And we are starting to get images from different fireballs. You've seen the last 3 or 4 days. But this is today's basically the sky map. Notice the red quadrant where it says Gemini. That's not one fireball. That's where the greatest concentration of those are coming from. We're in another meteor shower also, but they're coming from the rock comet 3200 Phaethon we've been watching. Now, 35 kilometers per second seems fast, but wait till the end of the video. That in itself is 78,000 miles per hour. They typically disintegrate about 80 kilometers or 50 miles above the Earth's surface. While many Geminis are faint, bright fireballs are not unusual. The moment the meteorites are no more than a few per hour. Sightings will increase in the night ahead as Earth plunges deeper into the debris zone of 32 Phaethon. Forecasters expect peak rates to occur December 13th and the 14th, when observers in both hemispheres could see dozens of Geminis despite the glare of a bright full moon. And Frankie Lucina has got this on Space Weather. He's out of Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, and this is one of the Gemini fireballs. It says December 8th, and I think it was last night after midnight in his area there. They're a couple hours ahead of us, guys. But look at that. And these are the strongest. This is part of this rock comet that we have talked about in a video a couple of days ago. It's amazing to see, because remember the fireball over Norway? It didn't skip, and it looks like this one may have survived and skipped back out. But guys, we talked about the solar wind speed in an earlier video, and I said remember 35 kilometers per second. Right now we're dealing with solar wind that's just under 700 kilometers per second. These peaks showing exactly when the earthquake struck today. Notice your timestamp UTC at the bottom. At 1449 was the 6.5 off Ferndale, California. That's right when that rise started to come in, and that center line is the solar wind stream. It starts over, and you'll see it running from 400 through the day, and then the sudden spike up just under 700. Then the second quake came in at, notice, 1738 UTC time, right when the second spike came through. Normally, with the ACE satellite, we have about a 45-minute warning at normal speed. But now, as I'm doing the video, the wind speed is at 682.2 kilometers per second. It was around 500 when the first quake hit, around 640 when the second quake hit. They're predicting this thing to peak out tomorrow. So we may not be out of the out from under the gun yet. As you notice, this red line is continuing to dip and peak, but it's not going back down yet. And again, that's solar wind speed. If you look over to the left of the red chart, you can see 600 and 700 kilometers per second. And you think like I said, you think these meteorites are fast at 3,200 kilometers per second. But when we're getting buffeted with this solar wind, and if you notice in the video before this, I showed you the massive coronal hole in the sun. That's what we're dealing with, and they're saying this storm will last through the 9th. It's a heads up, guys. Be safe.